that one clip over in the media file that I didn't tell you about. It says intro. That's how we
Awesome.
do it over here. That's how we do it over here.
Always. Yeah.
We just, yeah, just whoopsie daisy.
Ryan, as Houston hopes for an equalizer. End of the first half. Inside Ryan, but it's right at goal.
Hi, y'all.
That.
What's up? This is OSG here. This is the Dash Dispatch, or as I should say, welcome back to, or welcome to the Dash Dispatch. You know the mug, you know the voice, you know the face. I am OSG, and finally back with me after a couple of weeks, after spending a lot of time at home with his family and petting the cat and taking care and getting that cosmic jersey fresh for the show. The dynamic Foxtrot is back with me tonight. What's going on, Andres?
Pretty good, man. Just stuck in laundry over here. Just getting the jersey
Uh,
ready. No, but yeah, man, pretty good. Of course, watching all the teams from a long distance and the dash. Man, just all to talk about because yeah, it's just an interesting soccer ring going on, if you could say that.
Well, there is a lot of soccering, and I'm not promising this one's gonna be a long episode. We should probably breeze through this one pretty quick. Nothing going on during the middle of the week this week as far as news going on, so it's just a game preview or a game review and then a game preview that we have for you tonight. I do have a few questions for Andres as far as tactical decisions and what you would do and blah blah blah. But you know, if you're listening to us live, comment in the chat, and we'll see. We're paying attention enough, and we'll see it, and we'll comment. We'll add you into it. But otherwise, Andres, before we even get into this game, Kansas City was the opponent. 4-0 Kansas City was the opponent. We know who Kansas City is. You got Kansas City, Orlando, top tier number ones, just running the charts. Before this game even started, I didn't get to talk to you last week. What were your expectations going into this game? As if you were previewing it, ready to go, no hindsight. You haven't seen what was happening. How were you feeling before this game even started?
Well, just heading into this game, the main thing is just the opponent. We're talking about Kansas City Current, one of the best teams in the NWSL. It's a team that's like miles ahead of us in terms of like the lineup they roll out. They're just gonna be a menace, like offensively and defensively. There's gonna be a pain to break through, especially at home, a place that they just consistently sell out every single weekend that they have a game there. Of course, they have all these things going on. They didn't win the league last year by just like a miracle. And, and honestly, like last year, they were just a headache to play against for Houston. Of course, it's a different situation we're talking about. And my expectation here was just like, and we have to play our perfect game if we want to get a result out of Kansas City. And the good news is, like, or at least the silver lining out of this game is just the fact that they were able to contain Kansas City in a way. But yeah, the scoreline doesn't tell that, unfortunately.
Did you have any aspirations for a win? You said they got to play perfect. So I'll tell you, my prediction was we were going to win 1-0 or we were going to lose 6-0. Was my prediction in the last episode that I had. What I mean, so obviously you didn't go in there expecting to win. You said we had to be perfect to get a win. Were you hopeful that we could fight for a draw, or were you just kind of expecting to get blown out going into this game? And that's of course not knowing about the injuries that we have coming into this game, not seeing the game yet. How much were you dreading watching this game? You're gonna
Honestly, I
watch
was
it no
more.
matter what, right? But just how much were you like, oh, this is gonna suck. Here we go.
Yeah, the optimistic soccer guy in me was telling me, "Hey, we can get a draw out of Kansas City. We just have to play our best game of the season." And my pessimistic soccer guy was more like, "We're gonna get blown out," and it's not Houston's fault for the most part. It's just mostly Kansas City's just that good.
Yeah.
They like every single time. I think the last game before this one, I think they were facing Portland. They just blew them out by like 6-2 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. And they were just like coming in with like firing all cylinders. They're still like fighting for top spots in the league, and it's just like they're in a different, literally they're in a different league ahead of us. And hey, look, it's definitely okay to just like make some mistakes here and there. But if you want to get a result out of this one, or at least even a draw, you have to play your best game here. And I feel like in this game in particular, we're pretty close to get there because I definitely trust Fabrice what he's been working on with the team. Even though the last game against Angel City was pretty bad, I still felt like in the team in a good day they were just able to get a result on the road, which is a place they've been able to get points out of. And it's just unfortunate like it turned out this way, even though with the silver linings and all that.
Well, before we even get to the game, we're looking at availability report. Who are we going to get back for this game? Because we were missing some key players in the previous game. And real quick, I'll just go through them. It was Alyssa Chapman, who we hadn't seen a minute of, but with all the defensive injuries, is somebody you're kind of hoping you could have available. Jalissa Harris, where are you? Sorry, we loaned you out. Now we kind of need you. But
Yep.
so there's that surprise. But Evelina Duljan was still injured with an ankle, so she's not good enough to play. Heather Hens is still out on the 45 days. It looks like she's just recovering and getting ready. Natalie Jacobs with her ankle as well, so I think that was just precaution, making sure that because you don't mess with an ankle because it could take longer. And then Avery Patterson with the eye. I'm just assuming that the concussion protocol is taking a little longer. She did practice all week, as did Evelina Duljan, but Avery was wearing goggles during practice all week. So you got the other players returning as well. But looking at that, you're like, Jesus. Natalie Jacobs, Avery Patterson, Evelina Duljan, and then Avery Chapman, of course. So you're looking, all right, what am I looking like with my defense again? Because now here we are broken with the damn injury report. So not only are we trying to build a team and get into function there, we're now dealing with this damn injury report. I hate looking for it the day before. Are you with me on that?
Yeah, it's kind of like shades of 2024. Just like that huge pile of names in the injury report, which is definitely so super annoying. And and yeah, like heading into this game and obviously throughout the week, it was mostly just Avery Patterson because she was just returning from national team duty and unfortunately wasn't able to play here. And and really just looking at all the names before the game started, it was just like, yeah, it's gonna be tough for them, or like unless a miracle happened, like all the players played to like were on their toes and everything else. Like it was gonna be pretty tough to get a result here, but we had to roll out with the lineup, our best lineup that we had at the moment, and I felt like this was the closest one, honestly.
I would agree. Speaking of lineup, it's got to be the closest one you can use. With of course, with all the injuries, you have three starters. I mean, yeah, three starters out injured right now. You would love to have Patterson and Jacobs back in there for damn sure. But you started Messiah Bright at the nine up there. But basically, it was a. You could call it many things. You could call it a 3-4-3. You could call it a 5-4-1. It's depending on which side of the ball you're on. So it looked like a five most of the game, of course, because you're playing Kansas City and you're
Yeah.
defending. But so your defenders were obviously Westfall gets to start again with Nielsen and Lind over there. So I didn't have any problems with Westfall, as I mentioned in last episode. And again, no problems with her. She just didn't make any mistakes, didn't stand out or anything. So it's good. I'm glad we're getting to use her. So now she's somebody that we can rely on off the bench or in a necessity moment when there are injuries. Sheehan and Colaprico were your two D mids, so I was good with those two starting. You had who were your wings? You had damn it, Graham and Gary's, which
Yeah.
was all right. Put Gigi's on the wing. As long as Graham wasn't playing that damn left back again. In the previous game, we played a four back, and Graham played that left back, looked completely out of place, and hated every moment of it. And then, of course, you have Ryan and Oliveira. So, like you said, that's just the best lineup you can go with. And of course, you had on the bench people that Zoe Matthews finally getting to see the bench. You have a Bachman, a Lozia, of course, Bell Breed, who still hadn't seen minutes, Puntengam, who still hadn't seen minutes, Smith on the bench, and Kiki Van Dance, of course, Ordonez. So going into this game lineup, so it looks like you're going to put your three defenders in, and you're going to have some you're going to hope you can use those wingers and get a little involved into the attack. So Now you've seen the starting lineup. The whistle's about to blow. We get into the game. Andres, go ahead and give me your first thoughts of the opening 15 minutes of the game here.
Uh, yeah, I would say it was probably part of the course in regards to playing Kansas City. They was gonna come in with all the press they have, and this is gonna be an absolute nightmare to play against. I was mentally prepared. I was mostly just looking to see how they were just like how Houston were just able to hold up, and honestly, it was expected. I didn't want to think much of it on that to see like how Houston was just gonna get out of the jam.
It's crazy, and then like you said, all the firepower Kansas City has. Chewinga alone, you're gonna have to prepare for her and defend against her, and it's Paige Nielsen's duty this game. And Paige Nielsen does a great job of marking to begin with, so it's just can she keep up with her pace, and will Chewinga use her pace to her ability, because she does use that to her ability and put herself in positions just to take advantage of players and put herself into good shot positions. But to start this game off, man, I was okay. This is what I've expected. I expected us to play defensively. I expected us to sit on the ball and be the possession type, kind of dynamo, but just not pushing forward at all, because you can't go forward because Kansas City is a hell of a defensive team. Maybe the best defense in the league is Kansas City, by the way. We're talking about their offense all the time, but their defense is damn good and smart, and I think they're so good because when they attack, they only attack with 3 or 4 players. They don't attack with their entire friggin' team. And if they don't need to tell you the truth, because they do such a damn good job, and they're not winning 6-0 games. They're winning 2-0 games, 3-0 games, 1-0 games, 2-1 games. So, their games are interesting to watch, but they're a damn good team, and starting to look like they're probably the best team in the friggin' league. But we did lose the game 2-0. The very first thing that happened was a damn penalty kick. It was a damn penalty kick called against Katie Lynn. Give me your thoughts. They scored a goal, and then what do you think about that celebration?
It was Lavonta. I was expecting her to just like a ridiculous or just something like out of place for a celebration, and
Yeah, of course.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, be a ballerina, I guess.
Yeah.
But did you agree with the call, seeing it, Katie Lynn committing the foul? I guess I kind of gave it away because she did commit a foul, but it was kind of quick. The ball was moving away from the keeper. I don't know. There was another defender obviously right there. So, but I don't know. Let me hear it.
Yeah, it was pretty clear and obvious, and like just the way that we was like, able to, or at least not have a hold of the ball, just give it away. And for me, there's no complaints right there whatsoever.
Right. You can't. It was. It was just unfortunate, unlucky. Good positioning by the damn striker. It just sucks. Whatever. So, moving on through the rest of the first half, though, we did pretty well, and it was kind of weird. We're absorbing their attack. They're not really getting anything too dangerous off. Our press is working a little bit. To me, I'll go ahead and say overall, we did a good job, a really good job against Chewinga and stopping Chewinga from being a dynamic threat. She did make one good run. She did take a rip from outside the box on a rebound off a corner kick. But as far as the team did, I think they did a really good job in the first half. And I'm looking at the stats now. I mean, possession was 56-44. They had 9 shots out of their 15 total in the first half. But we almost had as many passes as them. Shots on target, we did find a shot on target, but we gave up 6 damn corners. So going into halftime, you're down 1-0, and your defense is playing kind of pretty good. You give up a penalty kick. How are you feeling going into halftime, and what are you doing to come out into the second half here to try to get this win?
It was part of the silver lining that I was just hinting towards earlier. It was just the fact that like there's definitely progress because we were just able to contain Kansas City like at halftime, like to 1 goal, which is great. Like it's just a matter of trying to build up in the attack somehow against one of the best defenses in the league. And I'm with you. Like I was definitely comfortable with the way they were playing, or at least they were just getting the groove, just like feeling the tempo of the game, like heading their way. It was just like how they were just able to break through offensively. It was easier said than done, but other than that, defensively speaking, they were just doing an okay job.
Yeah, okay job. I don't know what much Fabrice could tell them at halftime. They were doing such a good job. You were slowing the Kansas City attack down. The only thing that I would probably mention is if there's, his coaching staff, they're studying and always looking at key points, and please, could they find a way to be more creative into the attack to get ourselves a lot further forward than as far as we were getting, would be the only thing I would look at halftime coming into the second half. Otherwise, go out and keep playing the same game you're playing, and see what adjustments Kansas City's going to make coming out in the second half. Again, the stats favor the Dash in the second half, but this didn't look so obvious, the difference as far as the first half to second half as it has in previous games. It was, we were still playing defensive, and we didn't push that tempo and try to increase that tempo too much. We did try to come back, of course, or did try to play ourselves back into the game, but possession changed a hell of a lot. We gave up less shots. We were still giving up those damn corners, but we outpassed them, outpossessed them, and had a few more opportunities in the second half. Again, was that more of Kansas City just kind of? I don't know, man. How did you feel the second half went? The way the team played, the way Kansas City played as well.
For me, it was kind of just Kansas City just finding their way through and put the game away because they definitely knew that they had all the pieces together to have this game like put away. I guess Houston, kind of like what they did last year. But the difference between like then and now is just like we're more organized. We're still able to just cause a nuisance to Kansas City to a point that Chawinga is just having issues, which is definitely progress. The one thing I wanted to say that like man, like it's just like they had like at least Houston, they were just like able to have everything working towards them. It was just that for for a couple instances here and there, it was just like of course up until the other goal, like it was just like able to see how Houston were just like able or at least conceding opportunities to Kansas City to like get back in the game or at least get more goals in their favor. So like for me, there's a lot of good opportunities for Houston to like get forward or at least start attacking. But then again, it's just really tough against Kansas City.
Yeah, we couldn't find. Like I said, this I really believe they're the best defense in the league, and it was just really hard to find anything and create anything, get forward, and you couldn't use Yaz's speed to get forward. You couldn't use Messiah Bright's pace to get forward too well. You had a couple, like I said, a couple opportunities, but those are expected. You wanted to see more. So, I mean, we were doing a good job, but then this corner kick friggin' came, and I don't know if Jane Campbell had a mental lapse right there, or just, I mean, that was her judgment. She misjudged it, and a defender snuck in front of where Jane was going to punch out. So I could see what Jane was doing. There was a defender and one of her players standing there, and it looks like that's where the ball was going. She went to punch in front of them, and then another attacker jumps in front of her and steals the ball for a header. So I guess, yeah, Jane has to come off the line. She just probably could have, whatever. There's not too much blame right there. Somebody let their runner run is probably where the blame should go. That goal was just treacherous. We was hoping to try to come back and fight for that draw, and then the goal 2-0 came. How did you see that goal?
Yeah, just the timing of it was bad too, because like we've seen a couple. Obviously, we've been seeing Jane Campbell for many years now, and there's definitely a couple instances where she screws up, and look, it's it's definitely bound to happen. We're not perfect in some ways, but at the same time, it's kind of like you 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 really cannot afford to this type of mistakes with this game up close, and you can see why she probably was thinking like she was able to get a hold of the ball by just punching it away. I guess it's more of like an issue of, I wouldn't say miscommunication because it's pretty tough to talk in the middle of a corner kick, but really just like who's marking who, and just also it comes down to Jane Campbell because she has like all the vision in just entire vision inside the box, or like at least some ability to see which players are where. So I'm guessing it's just like an issue where she was not able to see the current player like right behind the other, and just able to get the header past Jane Campbell. It could be a combination of factors like that, but it's unfortunate. I was expecting more of Jane, but unfortunately, like this one got past her.
Yeah, just unfortunate. I'm not gonna say it's her fault. Somebody lost the runner. She misjudged where she was gonna come out to hit it. So, good job for Kansas City for getting that header in and putting the game away. Basically, two to nothing. That's 2-0 is where we end up with the friggin' final score too. So, back to the drawing board. It is Kansas City. So you take the positives out of it that you get, and you go back. Looks like we got Harry in San Antonio jumping in the chat.
Hey
What's
Harry,
going awesome,
yeah,
brother? What's going on, man? See, I gotta change it over here so I can read it because I just saw it popped up on the. I don't even know where to go find it, man. It's crazy just how this thing live chat works. But 2-0, man. Like I said, but going through some of the decisions that he Fabrice made. Messiah Bright started and played most of the game. Ordonez only came in the last 5 minutes of the game and didn't play at all. Really, we'll just say that didn't play at all. I was okay with him starting Messiah Bright because you knew you were going to be on your back foot the entire game, and her pace could help stretch the field if you can get more into the attack. And Ordonez is the target striker. You need to be in the final third to find her. So I was like, okay, for not using Ordonez and Bright getting this start. I'm still on the boat where Bright's kind of the striker we need until we can find that attack and get ourselves into that final third. Where are you on the number 9 situation right now? You could throw Yasmin Ryan in there too. It's the same thing. This is a debate I've been doing every week, kind of like we do with on the Noodle Time, where it's the Dynamo
of course,
team. Who is our 9
man.
week to week?
That's the biggest question in Houston, man. Like across all, like both Dynamo and Dash, like who's the number 9? Man, I always want to answer Jasmine Ryan, but it's just like an issue of who can provide and who's willing to step up. It could be the same player. It could be a combination of players if they're just able to play through adversity like that. And I've always seen Jasmine Ryan in that type of situation. Of course, we have the issue with just Diana Ordonez having issues last year, and I feel like this year we're in a pretty good setup, or at least like Jasmine Ryan was positioned to have a lot of success with this team, and of course, like just heading into her first year here, there was definitely gonna be some, or at least some period of adjustment, which I feel like it's happening right now. But at the same time, it's more like I don't want to keep bringing in Dynamo, but it's kind of like their situation when it comes to, okay, we do have the 9, but it feels like we still have to bring in someone that can provide for that player. But I feel like we have that in Jasmine Ryan. I feel like we have that type of player that's just like able to, that's not really afraid of running through defense. And it's just unfortunate because I feel like in this game, if she was able to just get a shot here or there, or like a couple more, we're probably just gonna get the equalizer there, or more. But yeah, it's just difficult to say, especially now with the team still trying to get itself together, and of course and deal with the injuries and all that. So it's just disappointing, honestly, right now.
Well, we'll have to move, and we'll see what we'll do, in the next game, and we'll see what Fabrice comes out and does. Next opponent's it's a lot different than what Kansas City is, and you're back at home. Michelle Alozia. Uh, we were kind of expecting her to maybe possibly get a start with everybody being hurt on the defensive side of it. Westfall ended up getting the start. Gary's and Graham ended up getting the wingers. Alozia comes off the bench and plays that winger role again this game. And so I'm happy with her there, and it seems like Fabrice might have found a role for her there. And I like it where she comes off the bench because she brings the pace, she brings something different. Um, I wish she could dribble a lot better because if you looked her up on FIFA, her dribbling skill is probably going to be low. But she uses her pace to her ability, and she gets those crosses off. So she's working out as that right wing back role. How do you feel about Alozia and her ability to play in that position for us?
I love Alosi. Like just every single time she was able to contribute, but I feel like just her up top, like it's usually like a mixed bag of results, and I always hope she would just be able to be a consistent threat, like on the wing, or wherever she plays. And I've been thinking like definitely for the past couple of years, I feel like she was just like underutilized, or rather, I feel like like the way she's been playing, we're just like not taking advantage of that. And I wouldn't say it's necessarily her fault. It's definitely a lot of factors for sure, especially with like how the team is set up from the beginning. But that's definitely a good question because I always felt like Michelle can definitely be an asset for this team. It's just a matter of how she is played, and here and there, I definitely see some instances where I see flashes of her just getting involved in the game positively. But I feel like just coming off the bench and not starting sometimes or starting like it's. I feel like there's different results here and there.
Yeah, well, we'll see how we can continue to utilize her, and we still got to find a way to get that attack going, man. That's just the hard part. It's the crazy part. How can we get ourselves into the final third? Next opponent should allow us to do that. But before we even get into that, Fabrice only used 3 subs this game. Ramona Bachman didn't see the pitch. It was nice to see Zoe Matthews and Kiki Van Zetten make the bench. Uh, at least Puntingham came in for her 3 minutes or whatever the plus time was. Ordonez came in for 5, but you got a Belle Breed on the bench. You have a Kiki Van Zanten on the bench. You have a Sophie Schmidt, which I'm okay. There was no reason really to put her in the game. You got a Ramona Bachman and a Zoe Matthews. You still had 2 subs left in a game that I would have liked to see. I mean, especially Bachman out there. You're trying to come up and get a goal. I don't know how she didn't fit into the situation, but Kiki Van Zet and Zoe Matthews, Belle Breed, this is a situation they could have got in and gotten some game time, some playing time when it doesn't look like you're going to be able to come back. So what's it going to hurt anyways? Put them in and utilize them and give them some time in this moment. So I don't know. I would have liked to use all 5 subs in that situation and get some experience out there, or even at least put Bachman on. That would have been 4 players. So I don't know what he was thinking there, but I hope this is not a Ben Olsen situation where we're not using our subs and utilizing all our subs, man. Tell me I'm wrong.
Honestly, that's my first complaint of this game. Is just the substitutions. It's more about the amount of substitutions rather than the timing because I do agree that Ramona Bachman in this game could have potentially opened up, like just provide a different dimension of Houston's attack because we've seen her last year. She's definitely just one of those players that is not afraid to build a plays, and I feel like she could have done a significant damage in the right situation here, and really just whenever the substitutions were coming in pretty late. Granted, it was more about trying to contain Kansas City, which is pretty difficult. I still feel like we could have definitely used those 2 substitutions, like you said.
Well, and then like you reminded me, we talked about 3 substitutions we were in. Alosia was 70, Ordonez was 85, and Puntingham was 89.
Yep.
So he used all 3 of his friggin' windows, but like you said, those last 2 subs came in very late, so they didn't even get to utilize their time while they were out there because there wasn't much time of added time anyways.
Yeah.
So technically, we're going to say we only used 1 sub in that game, and in that type of game, that's these players, that could have been very experiential minutes that are necessary to your portfolio when you're trying to make make the pitch, put them out there and just use them. You made 1 sub in that game.
Yeah, the second goal came in the 62nd minute, so we're talking about like a good like a good chunk of the game wasted just because of like a missed opportunities. But then again, I'm not a head coach. The Fabrice definitely knows more, and there's definitely a defensive game plan in just trying to contain Kansas City, like I said earlier. But then again, it feels like the timing of the subs and not using the 2 subs from the get go for me just feels like a wasted opportunity here to get a result.
Yeah, well, what do we do? What do we do, man? What do we do? So 2-0 final score. We take the L. We were kind of expecting to take the L, but was there a bright spot in the game? It was kind of dim, to tell you the truth. The sun is starting to go down. Yasmin Ryan takes a shot, and Mose makes it to the river. Gets stopped by a damn stump. How did you hit the one stump, man? You blew the ball over the goal, over the stadium, into the grass, and it rolls and hits the one little stump, the last thing stopping you from getting into the river. We almost had a river ball, Andres.
Man, like I guess it's a sad now that everyone's looking at, so it's just extremely disappointing that we didn't get anything. So, oh well.
We got to save a river save.
A river save.
It counts as a keep. I was just thinking, like, they got that keeper just stopping that ball, man. How annoying. But, anyways, all right, man. So, 2-0 result. Final comments on that game before I move on to the NWSL Roundup, because I would like to ask you that before I do skip that, in case you do have any final words, any final comments on that game.
It's definitely a lot of learning opportunities. Like we mentioned, I feel like we could have used more players that with that type of experience to come in and affect the game. But I feel like it's definitely lessons learned for the Dash against a pretty good opponent. And of course, same goes to Fabrice. Definitely something to get in the back of his head, over the course of the year. So it is what it is at this point. It was going to be pretty difficult to get a result, but we have to get wins now.
Have to get wins, yeah. I'm not in the desperation mode like we are with the Dynamo, sort of getting into that mode, but I'm okay because just Fabrice, the way he talks. I mean, granted, the press conferences are very short and very quick, but every time he talks, he just looks like he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. He just gives that aura of confidence out, and it so far it sounds like the players do believe in him and have the confidence in him as well. And it looks like things are working. It doesn't look like last year where we're just kind of stuttering around and like playing around. But this is our 4th different lineup as well out of 5 games. I believe it's 4th, maybe 5th lineup. So injuries don't help that issue, of course. We do need to figure it out. But best 11. Chapito actually asked if we could rate the positions, rate the best 11. And I do kind of want to do this, but it's still kind of early, and I'm still kind of evaluating the season.
Yeah.
But at this moment, Andres, we can run through it like real quick, like it's a lightning Jeopardy round. But who's your starting striker right now? Rate 1, 2, 3.
Yasmin Ryan.
I'll tell you, Yasmin Ryan. Okay. And then you have who backs her up?
I'll definitely say Michelle Alosi.
Alosia backs her up. Okay. See, my 9 is Bright. Is Messiah Bright.
Messiah Bright, yeah. That's a good answer.
And Ordonez is backing her up. I'm not even putting in Ryan at the 9 situation. I like 9, and I like Ryan as the wing situation. So let's put our wings out there. I like Ryan, Patterson you can use as both as a wing back and a winger, and Oliveri out there. So Ryan's going to be my winger, obviously. So you're going to put Ryan as your striker, though. So who's your top number one winger out here right now? Is it Ryan Garys? Is it A.B. Patterson? Is it Barb Oliveri?
I'll say Patterson for now, just in terms of form.
Yeah, and then it's obviously Jacobs, Lind, and Nielsen are three defensive. You're not going to take them out, but you have a Rebecca coming in who is officially at practice. Well, she's been announced. She's at practice. She's been warming up with the team. She's going to get a full week, and she should be. Let's say she is available against Utah. So I'm hoping to see her come off the bench.
Me
if
too.
we need to start her, let's friggin' start her. But we should be okay. So it's kind of hard. What are our best positions? So where do you place Heather Graham at her number one position right now? We've seen her at left back. We've seen her at left wing back. We've seen her at defensive mid. We've seen her at cam. We've kind of seen her at everywhere, so it's not a fair question. She's played in 5 games, and played in 4 different positions. So I'll ask it just for the hell of it. Where would you play Maggie Graham?
Maggie Graham has to be in the center of the park. It's a position where she's just been able to succeed. And yeah, I definitely get why she's been like switching around positions, but whenever she's like holding midfield back, or just playing, or just waiting for the ball to see how she's able to move forward, I feel like she has more success there. So definitely center midfield.
And I think it's Colaprico probably. If you're starting Graham in that situation, it's probably Colaprico that falls to the bench. You like Sheehan as a CDM, and you like what she does. I really like the way Sheehan trots back into that defensive line, the way she was doing it against Kansas City, and then kind of controlling the ball, moving the ball out of the back. Once you get out of the back, then that's a different story. So I kind of like Sheehan there, and I'm saying Colaprico to the bench. I like Colaprico still. I do like Colaprico. So nothing from her. I think I'm adding more offense into the attack. So you got your Graham starting there. You got your Oliveri. You have your Ryan. So my Colaprico probably still makes the starting midfield, actually, to tell you the truth. And she plays in between Graham and plays in between Sheehan, something like that. I'm still using Smith on the bench. I like Gary's starting. I like Gary's coming off the bench with her pace and speed, utilizing that late as well, stretching the field even more, because it seems like she's been pretty scary when your right back is tired. But you can also counter it and sub if you have a good right back ready to go in when Ryan Garys comes in. Keeper. Who's your starting keeper?
I mean, yeah, I don't think I have to name her, but yeah, Jane Campbell.
That's easy, and I only bring this up because I think this was at the moment. Somebody in the Discord had a moment and was like, "Start Abby Smith, start Abby Smith."
Okay.
If I was just gonna, it's just emotional. Take a chill pill, relax. You're not benching Jane Campbell, so relax. So we just played it off. We talked about it, and then we played it off. Like, that's crazy.
Abby's definitely gonna play when she's in national team duty for sure, but that's difficult to do. Beat Jane Campbell.
Yeah. Just because she had a bad game, you're not benching Jane Campbell, and then I call him Herman's son. He started to back him up too. So we'll have to have a little talk with Juan over there we're talking about a bench and Jane Campbell. It's like, come on, boy. Whew. You're lucky I ain't your daddy. We have to bend you over like, you gotta get this right. Jane Campbell's the starting keeper. U.S. Women's National Team. Let y'all know by the way. But all right, man. All right. Before we move on to our next game, let's just do the roundup. I want to go through the games that we had this weekend, talk and look at the standings, see what games are coming up this next weekend, and then preview our game, of course. So I like to do them in order. Friday night, Utah Royals hosted Chicago Stars, and Utah Royals got that 1-0 win. And when I said 1-0 win, it was a 10-plus minute extra time penalty kick win.
Damn.
Yes, all the way to the friggin' end, which is just crazy, okay? All right, let's go to the next game. Seattle versus Portland was a 1-0 win. Seattle scores in the 4th minute. and then there's no other goal the rest of the freaking game.
That's
So
disappointing.
we get a we get a reversal. Surprise of the weekend: Angel City hosting Gotham FC, 4-0 in favor of Gotham. I was surprised and shocked when I saw this game and saw the replay and then saw the. I was like, what? 4-0. Gotham wins 4-0 in Angel City. We just played Angel City, lost 3-0. We just played Gotham at home. Both those two opponents were at home, so 0-0. We did pretty well against Gotham. I don't know if we can call this game a fluke for Angel City. You're at home. You did give up an own goal, so the soccer guys were probably against you. But real quick, while I pause the NWSL Roundup, man. So what does that make you feel like about last week's game against Angel City? More of a fluke? More of Angel City played up to par? We just didn't play well at all. We played well against Gotham, and what is this? Does this game tell you anything, or just ignore it?
Probably just ignore it for now. It could just be one of those results that it could just be a fluke from Gotham. Well, yeah, it's just I got no comments, especially with like how that game against Angel City went last time.
They outpossessed them, outshot them, shots on target, outpassed them. Beat them across the stat line. So it's just it's a win, and it's a big win, and it caught people's eyes. Let's just say that for damn sure. It caught people's eyes.
Yeah.
Moving on to Saturday, Racing Louisville against a San Diego Wave. The Wave take this one 4-1. North Carolina. I'm gonna skip a game here. North Carolina hosted Bay FC and went down 0-1. North Carolina lost, and then of course our game, Kansas City 2-0 over Dash. This game, I watched this game. This game was fun. Orlando versus Washington. Orlando took it to friggin' Washington for the first 60 minutes of that game, and then Washington kind of fought back. And then, I don't know, man, if you saw the highlights on how Washington scored that goal, but Washington wins this game 1-0. Orlando takes their first defeat of the season. I'm pretty sure you did not see that goal or how it was scored, but just in case, did you see it?
I did not, and I wanted to see the highlights because I felt like this game was gonna be pretty tough. A pretty tough battle.
Washington did a great job defensively. Orlando poured it on and poured it on and poured it on in the first half and just poured it on. Second half, Orlando's playing out of the back, a pass back to the keeper. The keeper takes a touch and then just goes into slow motion and loses the ball. Kicks the ball, gets deflected by the pressing attacker, and then she ends up scoring the one goal, and her name was Monday. And this was in the 64th minute, by the way, too. So there's still 26 minutes left for Orlando to turn it on and get that game back. And when I say like they put an ass whooping on them, Orlando still had 20 shots, 60% of possession. And I said, I'm not kidding when I said they poured it on, man, poured it on. 11 corner kicks too as well. So Orlando finally goes down, taking their first loss, which leads us to the NWSL table. Kansas City now is atop the table. All they needed was a draw in that game because we knew Orlando lost by the time our game started. But now Washington Spirit and Orlando Pride are now tied for second. Goal differential goes to Orlando Pride because I guess that takes prevalence. It should anyways, because by the time the season ends, you're going to play this team a second time, so there's going to be no split. Gotham's moved up to fourth with 8 points, and Angel City's 8 points, so the little flip-floppery there. But where are we sitting in the standings? Oh, 10th place. 10th place, 1-1.
Big 10.
Yeah, man, but I guess it's okay. We have 5 points, right? We got the win, we got a draw, so 5 points. We're at -4 goal differential, so we got to work on that. But our next opponent, who is coming off that win, 1-0 win, and their first win of the season, who also has a -4 goal differential, actually identical goal for and goals against, 4 goals and 8 goals against. An identical record, 5 points. The Utah Royals are coming into Houston on this Friday night at 7 or 7:30, whichever time it is. I don't know, but whatever. I'll look it up here in a second. But man, we got the Utah Royals at home. I'm feeling as I've kind of mentioned a couple times earlier in the show, really, really confident about this game and looking forward to seeing this game. And if anything less happens, then I'm going to be very, very disappointed, as you can tell, because I'm expecting to win in this game. Utah's no joke still. They're a decent team, but I'm feeling confident, man. How do you feel about this game going into it? And it will be on the NWSL Plus network at 7 o'clock on Friday night.
Yeah, this game they have to win this game. It's I'll definitely say winnable in the right situation because I feel like they can definitely take advantage of Utah's form, and obviously they just got the win right now, which is something that's to be recognized. But I feel like with this game we have like a good understanding of the roster, not compared to Utah, which they have been seeing changes here and there. So for us, if we just play really badly and just come out of here without a win, I feel like I'm just gonna be very upset about that.
We're both going to be upset, and I get to react from the stadium after the game, so it better be a friggin' win. I'd rather talk to happy girls after the game in the tunnel and get good interviews than disappointed interviews. So let's go for a let's get a dub here against Utah on Friday night. Real quick. Also, NWSL playing this week, which is an odd one. We have a Tuesday night game on NWSL. So, if you're listening to this before Tuesday night, oh, never mind, it's 9:30. Sorry, I should have looked to see who the teams were. It's Portland hosting Gotham at 9:30 tomorrow night on a Tuesday night. If you wanted to watch some soccer, so never mind. I'm just kidding. It's bedtime. We're all going to be knocking out. So maybe put it on to go to sleep. It'll be on CBS Sports Network, by the way. And then Friday night, you have a couple games on Friday night. Of course, we get the NWSL instead of the Prime. What is it? Soccer After Dark or whatever it's called. Houston versus Utah. Soccer After Dark on Prime is Orlando versus Angel City. Well, good for them. So hopefully they can do better against Orlando. But that's the Friday night schedule. Saturday, Washington host Gotham. Gotham gets another game, so they get to play twice this week. North Carolina hosts Kansas City. Chicago hosts San Diego. And Bay hosts Seattle. Then on Sunday, Portland gets to host Louisville to finish off the week. But, man, the Utah Royals. I'm looking at their lineup, trying to figure out they're where it's going to come from. Looking at they run a 4-2-3-1 last game. That was at home. Probably I think four defenders. They're not going to change too much from that. But I mean, besides Sitnor, it doesn't look like they've got too much of like dangerous names that stand out to me or anything. So let's get into this game. Utah versus Houston. I expect Avery to be back because it's been 2 weeks. So it's been 2 games now. So she should be back. She's been practicing. I would like to see Evelina Dulchan back. What she brings in the midfield with that pace and agility. And definitely need Alej. So let's just say all three are back because they should be back, and we're precautious, man. So what are you expecting coming into this game against Utah, and what's the outlook?
Yeah, those were some of the names I had in mind. Of course, every Patterson is just a player that it's on a different form compared to a lot of the players on the team right now. With definitely every Patterson back. Doljan, I definitely liked her in the first game for sure, and we need her back as well. And I feel like those type of players are gonna be can make the difference against Utah. And of course, you mentioned earlier Rebecca. I don't expect to start obviously, but it's more like I want her to come off the bench here, and just so we can see what she can do because it looks like a type of player that gets a lot of hype around, which is great. The Dash need a lot of hype right now, and I feel like it could just create more opportunities for the Dash going forward. So why not get her off the bench, get her playing right now because this team needs more performances like that, more things to look forward to, and yeah, I feel like they can go a long way here if they do.
All right, before I get your prediction, a little stat tats from the Utah Royals away. They're 0-2 this season, scoring 2 goals and giving up 6 goals. So road form doesn't look too well. Of the 4 goals they've scored this season, 2 of those goals came during open play. One came during a free kick. A free kick can be very open. It could be a corner kick. It could be not a penalty kick. It could be a corner kick. It's a free kick from somewhere in play. It's blah 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 whatever. And they scored one on the penalty kick. So a free kick, a penalty kick, and 2 open play goals. So that tells me they're not very threatening attacking wise. Our 4 goals have all come from open play. We haven't scored from a penalty, from a corner, anything like that. Their player rankings, according, I'm looking at FootMob while I'm talking to y'all. It's just kind of like average across the board. A couple players with above 6 7s, which of course Ali Sentnor. You expect her to be that. Mini Tanaka, which Mina Tanaka, not Mini Tanaka, but Mina Tanaka is almost a 7, so she looks like she's been playing great. And St. George's, who's their left winger, has got another high ranking, so we'll have to watch out for their midfield and make sure that we can control our midfield to control their friggin' midfield. Nobody scored more than 2 goals. They like getting yellow cards, so I'm cool with that. Bring it on. But as far as team rankings, if you go through like FootMob ranking their teams, they're 14th out of 16th ranked. Oh, you're probably like, where's the dash compared to that, huh? They're 14th out of 14th, sorry, and the Dash are 10th. So, hey, I'll take that for the FootMob rating. They're the worst team in the league according to FootMob. So, woo, I'll take that. Goals conceded are ninth, goals per match ninth, all kinds of possession, average possession. Now, here's a little different. They're the fourth best team in possession. We're the fifth best team in possession. So everybody's going to be fighting for the ball, which means nobody's going to want to score. It's going to be one of those friggin' games. They do have a clean sheet to work off of this year. But as far as that, man, like, I'm not seeing anything that stands out as far as our team is going to be. We should be able to focus, even with the limited players, with the players still being injured and maybe not available for this game. I'm still confident. As a matter of fact, I'm still very confident that we can come out and get a 2-0 dub out of this game. I'm very confident we're not going to give up a goal at all. Has to be a hellacious mistake on our end that gives up a goal. We win 1-0. I see the second goal coming, pushing late. So I'm going to go with the 2. But it's hard to get that second goal, especially after all the stats and everything I just looked through and the way this game is probably going to go. Who's going to have possession and who's going to want possession? Who's going to decide to attack more? We always do in the second half, but we're literally enough. All right, Andres, what do you think? Where are you at? I got 2-0. I'll think about who's going to score those goals.
I have 3-1 Dash, only because I feel like both teams may not be like defensively sound, even though Dash might have an edge here. But I feel like there's gonna be a lot of goals just because of how Utah could potentially be set up, and also with our players potentially returning. So I feel like if we have like our best roster, I feel we can create enough damage to put the game away like that. And there could be some mistakes here and there. One that could just lead up to Houston's goal or like a Utah's goal. So a lot to consider, and I feel like Yasmin gets one, a Barb gets one, and the third one goes to, I'm gonna say Maggie Graham again, only because I feel generous.
Oh wow, okay. I'm giving it to Maggie. I was gonna do it. It's about time Ryan gets hers, and then welcome back Avery was
I'll
gonna
take it.
find a goal. Yeah. So I thought about it, and like those were just kind of pretty easy as I'm watching my cat get stuck to her little toy, and that toy's attached to the cat tower, and now she can't move, and she's gonna cry when I try to come help her. But so I'm going with Avery Patterson, and Yasmin Ryan has finally got to get that goal. She's got her an assist, even though Barb tried to mess it up. She still got the goal though. So yeah, Ryan, Yasmin Ryan, Avery Patterson. If it's not Avery Patterson, it's coming from the wide block, whether it either be a nice cross coming in or someone scores from cutting in and taking one of those good rip shots that ends up in the corner of the goal. So that's where I'm at, man. All right, Andres, I think we're at the end here. I think we've gone through our preview. We've gone through our review of our last game. We've both declared we're going to get a dub this next game and move forward. It is a 2-game home stand, so y'all guys get your tickets and go to the game and check it out. This is a good weekend to go see soccer downtown Houston because it's a Friday nighter, a Saturday nighter, and a Sunday nighter for all three teams. So Dash on Friday, Dynamo on Saturday, and Dynamo 2 Dose will be at Sabercat Stadium on Sunday night with Dynamo and Dose both playing Austin. So we definitely need to get you there. And speaking of Austin versus Dynamo, my last little part, there will be a tailgate at the Dynamo headquarters with the Surge and with the Texian Army. El Bation will be next door getting their warm-ups, and then there will be a walk-in all together with the band playing, smoke rising, and just everybody prepped and ready to go. And we're going to be inside that stadium and build that team up and ready to whoop Austin's ass. So come check us out at the tailgate. Headquarters is next to Lot C. Just ask everybody, where's the tailgate? Where's the tailgate? It'll be in Need Your Know too. Need to know that you're going to get that email. You're going to get if you're a Dynamo fan listening to a Dash podcast right now, because I want to see you at that tailgate. It'll be in your Need to Know. But let's get back. I want to see y'all at the Dash game as well. I'm going to be walking around the concourse. Say hi. You cannot forget this face. It's not that hard. Say hi. I want to talk to you. I want to see you. If you see me, just stop me. Even if I don't, I'll have my stuff. I'll be ready to talk to you. We'll figure it out. So I want to talk to you. Hit me up. Andres, one final thing. You got any final comments? And then if you'll tell the people where to find us and find everybody and find everything Foxtrot.
Yeah, man. Houston Soccer Equinox, man. This weekend, it's hard to come by, so I definitely suggest you get those tickets for Dynamo or Dash first on Friday, Dynamo then on Saturday night. Those games are free, so you only have to claim the tickets on SeatGeek, so you don't have to pay an extra charge. So I highly recommend you checking it out. And like what you just said, we're facing Austin, or Dynamo's facing Austin, and then those are facing Austin FC2.
And I'll be at all three.
Yeah, OSG is gonna go all out here. So look forward to it. Definitely get all of your tickets right now. So very cheap. So yeah, they're right there for you to get right now. So, but yeah, man. As always, all season long, we're gonna be giving you all the Dash news, win or lose, or draw, whatever. We'll be here no matter what. We do have our handles on Twitter and Instagram at Dynamic Foxtrot, and also on X we do have our separate handle called Noodle Tiempo. So if you're on X, Twitter, consistently we do provide updates there as they come by during the week, especially. So keep an eye on that for updates, and also podcast. Whenever you're listening to this one, we're pretty much going to be your favorite platform. Just look up Noodle Time. You're going to get all of our segments right here and there once you subscribe. So make sure you do that right now. And also, if you can leave us a review, give us 5 stars, give us a comment. The feedback helps us a lot, so we do appreciate every time you do that for us. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube, we do appreciate you tuning in live and also subscribing, giving us likes, giving us comments. That feedback also goes a long way, so we do appreciate that once again. So make sure you subscribe already. We're almost at 300 subscribers. We're still working on giveaways once we hit 300. So once again, we do thank you for sharing the page and subscribing if you haven't already. And also, if you want to check us out on Ghost TV, it's a good 23 away. Just 23 away, man. Like that's all it takes. So subscribe if you haven't already, please. And if you haven't checked out Ghost TV yet, it's a good platform to check out all soccer content creators like us. So our handle is goals.tv/@dynamicfoxtrot, and that's goals spelled GOLZ.tv. So make sure to check us out there if you haven't already.
All right, that brings us to the end. Dash Dispatchers, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Pass this on and share it to whoever. You only got 2 Dash podcasts that you can listen to, so I suggest you listening to them both. You get a lot of information out of both of them. and we just keep you tuned in. You can learn more about some couple players. Suggest you follow Houston Sports Images for photos daily. I mean daily, daily from practice and from the games. So y'all follow Houston Sports Images. But Andres, I think it's time to call it quits. We're almost to an hour, so we're going to keep it under an hour, and we're going to say good night. We'll see you Friday. Better see you Friday. If not, see you Saturday. If not, see you Sunday. You get 3 opportunities with me, so see you 3 times this weekend or 1 time. Hit me up.
Yeah, let's get it.
H is up.
Ryan puts it up.
Oh,
Did it
almost.
make it? No. Stop by the post.
I've been hoping for another river ball, JP.